if he has retired in 2025 June, we still feel as a union is very useful, especially to our teachers, because if he can still guide us into how we can teach the learners, how we can encourage the learning process to be constructive, that would be very nice. I want to welcome all of you this evening, and I pray that God Almighty will help all those who haven't joined to join, and those who have joined safely, thank you. You will give us wisdom to listen to our advisor to what he has for us this evening. Mr. Mulumba Mutema Matthias is sharing with us this evening on the topic constructivism in teaching and learning the competency-based curriculum at secondary. May I at this juncture therefore welcome him with both hands to share with us this evening. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you, the team of Uganda Professional Science Teachers. I'm here as Mulumba Mutema Matthias, and I'm glad to continue being part of the team which is on the journey of delivering the competence-based curriculum in Uganda. Thank you for giving me all the votes and the opportunity to share. I would like to start right away because we are time-bound, and I will go to the first slide since the topic has been given. So in the first slide, I would request Rogers to share with us. He will be my co-host. And Rogers, can we share the first slide? Rogers. So I will start with the task. I want the members to write in the chat or to raise up their arm, and they tell us any 5 words they can get out of these letters. The members on the call, you are welcome to join us. So which words can you see? You can write in the chat, or you can say by putting up your arm and we pick you. Do we have any hands, Rogers?
We see Mr. Joventa. Welcome.
Joventa, can you tell us 5 words you can get out of these letters?
As Joventa comes on, I can see hide, H-I-D-E. I can see her, H-E-R. I can see I can see only 3.
Only 3.
Mr. Joventa,
another one can. Walter, any word you pick from these letters?
Members, you unmute. I don't know if you cannot unmute. Please unmute yourself and
write
talk.
in the chat.
Okay.
Yes, please, welcome.
Okay, thank you. I'm seeing her. I'm seeing head.
Great.
I'm seeing gig. Post is
Great.
only 3 letters.
No, any
What?
5 words.
Okay, I'm seeing lion. No.
Lion,
I'm seeing.
great.
I'm
In the
seeing.
interest of time, we want to thank you and congratulate you upon getting those letters.
Okay, thank you.
My next question, next slide, is asking you, how did you achieve that? What did you use to achieve that? To get those words, those letters, using those letters.
Yes, Mia was able to put the letters together and I pronounced the word. Then try to recall
That is good.
what existed.
Recalling.
That is how I.
Thank you. We can move to the next slide. We use recall, and what Betty is saying, when you reach a situation like that, you have 2 backpacks. One may be from the books you've read, but another one is the wealth of experience you have in life. So the 2 combined together support you to create the words from those letters. I'm aware that many of you went to school, you were introduced to the letters of alphabet, you have used them over time, and through the experience you have got, now you can create new words. And through these words, you can have new meanings, different from maybe those that you had first met earlier on, or the same as those you had met earlier on. We can move to the next slide. And I want to emphasize that learning is similar to that. Here I have another question. And the question is, which items are made from the same materials? And I thought that most people would be at home, so I brought things that are close to them at home. So if you look at the materials on the screen, which of those are made from the same materials? Any response to that can be given.
Members, you can raise up your hand and you're picked. If you have an idea to contribute, just raise up your hand. Shall pick you and you talk.
Or you write in the chat.
For me, I'm seeing the plates. Huh?
The plates,
the
yes.
plates on the one on the left-hand side as I'm seated.
Yes.
Those are made of melamine. Then I'm seeing there's this special cups with rings. Those ones seem to be of the same material. Then the spoons, spokes, and the table knives, they also look to be of the same material. Then on the right-hand side, I am seeing plates are of 2 types. The one which is the orange blue, that one, except the one down, they also seem to be of a different material. If not, the same material with the white ones, which is made of kind of melamine. Then I see the serving dish, this one with a glass top. That one has a glass on top. Then the down one, its material is very close to the spoons and the knives.
So
That's how I'm
thank
trying to
you,
look
Betty.
at.
Thank you, Betty. here Betty is introducing us to a topic in chemistry. And that topic, those who are still remembering the syllabus of lower secondary, we are talking about materials. But after introducing them, the second question would tell you to group them and give that zone. And I want to give the answer to that. If we group these materials, like Betty had already put the spoons, somebody said the door keys, you find them, they are metallic. And when you lift them, the weight is not like the wooden pieces there. So using the weight of the materials, we are going into yet another topic. But to reach that topic, you need to present the materials, and people have a feel of them. And when they have a feel of them, then you can group them. And when you group materials, if you are in mathematics, it is sets. But if you go to chemistry, you are grouping them and you are now getting introduced to the periodic table. So learning starts with what you know and then moves to what you don't know. And you must have the experience, that hands-on experience. So when we do that and pose questions around the things that we know, the people will be contributing. And as they contribute, they learn from each other. We can move to the next slide. Members, what you have been seeing was that Mulumba decided to put a stimulus. And when the stimulus is put, it excites you, it motivates you to react. And when you react, you make a reflection as a person that what did I see? How do I feel when I see them? What do I remember about them? And from that, you can go to another level. What do I learn from this? And as we were interacting, what is going well? When I pose the question, what is going well? Why is it only Betty responding? And I've seen Patrick also responding. The person from Kabale just put up the thumb. So what do I learn from that? So these reflections takes you to a different level of learning because you can pose questions to yourself. And as you pose questions to yourself and you find the answer, you are creating knowledge and building yourself, becoming a better person because you are trying to understand the stimulus that has been put to you. So if I remind you that the materials we had could be put in sets in mathematics, and that one becomes the set theory, grouping things. We can group fruits, we can group letters, as we did it. We can group numbers, the numbers like prime numbers. We can now have sets. Some things had wood and metal, others were plastic and metal. So there is an intersection, a metal intersecting, and you are in set theory. And you are showing they are materials, but we can have metallic materials, we can have plastic materials, but the universal set is materials. That is the universal set. So in that way, we are learning. All of those things, when you put them, they are materials, but then you can go to their subgroups, and that is in mathematics, you are talking about the set. So that is how we learn. We can move to the next slide and see. If you have a paper around you, I would like us to go to this slide. And if you have an onion, I would ask you to cut one and cut it, make a cross section across the onion. But if you don't have the onion, I've put picture 1 and 2. And that takes us to number 2 on the screen. I want you to trace the rings on paper. Is there anybody who is trying to trace and show us through a video what you have done to trace the rings of the onion on a paper? I'm giving you 1 minute. When it is 8:26, I will move to the next slide. Do we have anybody who has traced and can show through the video what you have drawn? Members who are on call,
I can see Solomon's hand up. Yes.
Solomon, can you share on your video and we see?
Solomon.
Solomon has not
Yes,
been able
please.
to.
If not, we get to Kabale Secondary School. There is this one who has written his name as Kabale Secondary School. You're welcome.
Okay, we can move to the next slide since they may have a problem of showing through their video. The next slide. Oh, I've seen one. Congratulations. The one who has Kabale Secondary School. Congratulations. Now we can see this screen shows you that when you have the concentric circles of the onion, you can use the mathematical set to do many things. You have seen the particular onion, the object in real life. Now we have put it on paper. We can draw squares between the concentric rings. And when you continue drawing the squares, you are going into interior design, which is more of fine art, but also it is physics, and also it is mathematics. But I start from the known that we are drawing the rings of the onions. Then I take you further to see how you put squares from the inner concentric ring to the outer. And we can do that. Consequently, we shall form these drawings below. And all of that is used in decorating our houses. But it starts from the ring, the concentric circle. So when you are teaching the circle as a mathematics teacher, do you bring the onion to the class? And the children start to see, oh, the onion has circular circles when it is forming its leaves around the bulb. So you need to show that, and then you jump from there, you bring the squares as geometric shapes, and then eventually it forms the interior design at a higher level. We can move to the next slide. So here you see students. They are doing the same topic, but everybody finds the most suitable place where to do it. Others are on the blackboard, while others have the models, while others have the beakers and liquids. And they are in chemistry. That is what one person would be soaking. But when you look at the blackboard, there are drawings of shapes there, hexagons, which is a benzene ring. So learning is each one of us has a learning style. The one holding the model is there. There is one who is writing. And there is one who wants to do experiments to see what changes occur. There is a Bunsen burner there. All of these things, they are still on one topic, but they are being looked at differently because of the learning style. So as individuals, we have learning styles that we are comfortable with. And if the teacher does not allow that learning style to come out, then the learner gets lost. But if the learning style is allowed, given space, the learner will express what he has understood, what he knows, and what he has carried from the experience to the class. And in that way, we shall be learning together, and learning becoming very enjoyable and inclusive to everybody. We can move to the next slide. So learners can only be actively constructing their knowledge if all of them have been given space to act in their best style. So the picture above shows chemistry learners actively constructing their own knowledge through hands-on experiments, through reflection, through collaboration. You see them working with molecular models, colorful solutions in beakers, the chalkboard full of chemical formulas, while they are sharing the ideas and recording the observations about what they have understood from the topic. We can move to the next slide. I want to say the proponents of all of this who made the observations earlier on, I want to use two of them. One is called Brunner. Brunner said, we build the knowledge together, like what we are doing right now. If you go to class, it is important, according to Brunner, to build the knowledge together. So it is an active collaboration process where learners work together to create knowledge with the teacher. The second person who made the observation very way back in 1984 is David Kolob, and we call it Kolob experiential learning. Here, learning by doing, not only listening, but you learn as you do. You engage with the materials. And that's why I brought the letters first. You engaged with them. The kitchen utensils and equipment. Then I brought the onion. I'm trying to say, if learners are engaged in doing, they are learning because they will have the concrete experience, they reflect, and they actively shape their knowledge. We can move to the next slide. I want to say that likewise here, if I asked, what do you see here? We shall see very many things. Some people can say they are seeing a hole. Others may say we are seeing a drawing. Others may say it is an art piece. But what I've done here is to dismantle a guitar. We can go to the next slide. The guitar did not start that way. It started with some strings. Then the strings were attached to objects that could make sound as you pulled the strings. So way back in 1914, Pablo Picasso used that knowledge to teach how we create knowledge and new objects. And he said it was a shared knowledge. And the meaning changes. If I have only a string, you may not say that sound will come out of it. But if it is joined to an object which can make sound, and then you pull the string, then sound comes. So the learner now will synthesize that combining the two gives a new meaning. So the method in which ideas and assumptions are created as a result of interaction can be a way to learn. And we use it so much in teaching and learning in a competence-based approach. We move to the next slide. So constructivism in competence-based learning becomes a process. And this process starts from simple to complex. The learners start by exploring the environment near them, the situation the teacher has put in front of them. They practice with the environment and the materials they are in, and then they achieve new knowledge. It starts by you experiencing the knowledge which is familiar, and as you go on, it becomes more complicated, like when you saw the onion concentric circles. If I added the squares, I'm making it even more complex. But by the time you reach the interior design, some person may not see that you started with concentric circles. So it has become more complex. So that is how we should build our lesson in competence-based education. We can move to the next. Learning. What is constructivism? This is a learning theory, and it emphasizes that learning, you construct, you create your own knowledge through experiencing it, through reflection, and through working with others. And that is why when the competence-based curriculum was rolled out, one of the key messages that you find when you meet people and ask them, they say, learners are learning in groups. The tables have been put in groups because the principle behind the new curriculum is constructivism. And this is the principle we expect the teachers to use. The other people are saying it is active-based learning. There are activities which the learners work on together. So we are saying it is a process and we are learning together. We can move to the next slide. So constructivism can be described by Confucius from China, that when I hear, I can forget. When I see, I remember. But when I do it with my hands, I understand it. Because the experiences I will get by doing it will give me more lessons than when I'm just told. Like some of us were told there is the polar bear in the Greenland. We have never been there, but those who have been to Greenland, their experience is different from us who have never been to Greenland. So that is key. So learning in an important way depends on what we already know. New ideas occur as we adapt and change our old ideas. Learning involves inventing new ideas. And from my first slide, I had many letters from the alphabetic order. And I was telling you, you know this alphabet from P1. You know these letters. Can you form words? So you were changing the old ideas about alphabet and forming new ideas, inventing others. It is not a mechanical way that the words are here. His, has. No. From P1, we have been learning and using the letters. And I've learned that right now I'm using only 50 different words to write all of my reports, to write all the things that I do. There are only 50 different words that I've learned over time. But I continuously adapt them, change them, and use them to create new meanings. So it is important that the thinking the old ideas and coming to new conclusions is one of the best way of learning. We can move to the next slide. I want to emphasize the next slide. Rogers, we move to the next slide. What do we know about these animals? I hope let us just see them because of time. And what name do we give to these animals? Any guess in the chat or by hand?
Yes. Somebody.
Cheetah.
Leopard.
Is
One
the
person
cheetah.
has cheetah. You are right.
Yes.
The leopard and cheetah are in the same family, but particularly this one is a cheetah. We move to the next slide. So the cheetah is the fastest land animal capable of reaching a speed of 114 kilometers per hour. But the cheetah to move, it has focus. It looks at all animals. If they are antelopes and it wants to capture one, it will not follow all of the antelopes in the bush. It picks one and it says, I will die with that. So it has a focus. And that is the principle used in designing, learning, and teaching in competence-based. You know the end, you must know where you are going before you start putting the activities. So what is the end? In terms of curriculum, it is called backward design. It demands that you establish the ultimate destination first. And you cannot design the chase, the learning activities, until you know exactly what the prey is. So if we have any content in the syllabus, what is its destination? What will it give us at the end of it all? And we have been saying, and now there is the effort by organizations that they want to teach the teacher or to train the teacher that before you handle the topic, know the carriers the topic leads the students to. And when you come to teach them, tell the students, we are learning this topic because we want you, if you get all the knowledge around it, you can become this. So the learner gets motivated, like the cheetah gets motivated when it has identified the antelope or the smaller animal it wants to capture as its prey. So in competence-based and constructivism, we must know the destination before we can co-create. We can move to the next slide. Here, many of us, when we have a birthday, one of the destinations is we shall eat a cake. But when you examine a cake, you notice that it is a sliced cake will show you very many parts, like this one. What do you notice about it from the top to the bottom? Members, what do you notice about the cake from top to the bottom? Now, we have got the next slide. The next question was, what do you see above our head? Whether you notice them or not. This list tells you that we see all of these things. And if I'm entering a class, this is a big topic, but I'm starting from what we know. If I went to Betty's subject of physics, then I'm in a topic in a class in lower secondary. Which topic is this, Betty? Betty or Patrick, which topic? Members, which topic?
This topic is on motion.
Motion, that is one. Another one, physics people. Which topic? Where this will come into play? Yes?
Waves.
Waves?
Waves.
Okay, let us now move to the next slide. I'm introducing a topic in physics, and this is about the layers of the Earth's atmosphere. But I start by asking you, what are those things that are above our head? And people will start with the birds. They will tell us the plane, the aeroplane, but there are those that we don't see, and they occur in the other different layers. But if I started from the cake, you could also remember the cake has layers, and each layer represents, if I analogy of here, it shows that those layers. So that is how we co-create, or we do constructivism in learning, that you bring a material that mimic what you want to teach. You know the destination. I want to teach about the Earth's atmosphere. But what will bring the big kickstart of the word layers? So the cake becomes easy. But from the cake, I now ask, in the layers, what are the things that happen in the layers of the Earth? There will be the birds, the aeroplane, the spacecrafts, the satellites, and so on. So in that way, the topic now becomes more concrete. Instead of saying we have layers in the Earth's atmosphere, I started by showing you an object which has layers. And in that way, we are co-creating and rethinking the old ideas into new meanings. We move to the next slide. So we shall be doing what Vygotsky said, our zones of proximal development. We start with what the children know and can do without help. Then we move to what the students can do with help. Then finally, we make them to go beyond what they have been having as they entered the class. So in that way, we are co-creating. And I've shown you that if we started with the cake, everybody who has gone to a birthday party knows the cake and its layers. If I ask you, what is above our heads that we see, or sometimes we know or we don't know, but it's above our heads, you will mention many things. In that way, I'm taking you to the zones of proximal development. So in co-creation, Vygotsky's theory of zone of proximal development becomes key as part of constructivism. Next. I wanted the people to do this, but we don't have time. I would have asked one of you to be the taxi man. Then you are introducing Ephraim to a person from Viva, another one from Cheers, another one from Sony. These are traders, and they are reacting to the person from Revenue Authority. In that way, if we had the discussion for 3 minutes, we could get how you could talk about the new tax as a representative of Viva, as a representative of Cheers, as a representative of Sony. And the reactions would be very interesting. In that way, we shall be co-creating knowledge around taxation. Let us move to the next slide. So, but the way you would articulate would be related either to a linear mode of communication, or an interactive model of communication, or a transactional mode of communication, the way you would react. Right now, I'm trying to give both the linear mode of communication because it is coming from me, but I invite you in for the interactive mode of communication, and you give your responses. In that way, you will also be co-creating. We move to the next slide. Rogers, the next slide. This is how we could assess the people participating in the talk. We use rubrics. Those are the ones that we use in competency-based. The one who struggles to say the idea will be at score 1. But there will be that one who will be consistent with the tax issues, and that one will be in score 4. So there is different scores for whoever participates in the discussion. And we have criteria that we look at during the discussion. There is one who will look at the problem of IMIS in a very consistent way. And there is one who will say IMIS fails to understand what IMIS is all about, and he will say, we don't want any more tax. He gets a score of 1 because he needs more scaffolding to be put at the level of understanding it. We can move to the next slide. So here I can use this picture to tell you how can we ease crossing River Nyamwamba in Kasese using everyday materials in our community. So one person will say, what are the everyday materials in our community? And which of those can we use to cross? Already, responses to those questions will be easy to capture. But I'm also showing a picture of somebody struggling to cross River Nyamwamba when it has busted the banks. So in that way, I'm scaffolding you, I'm pulling you into the big concept that I want you to engage in. Next slide. So I can have very many more questions like the first 2 that we can use to share. Like, what challenges do people currently face when crossing the river? Who uses the river most? What everyday material? That one I had already said. What simple structures can we make from local materials? And so on. In that way, if I continuously ask those questions, the learners will be contributing from their experience. And in that way, we shall be building together the knowledge and getting to deeper understanding. Excuse me. Next slide. So these would be the actionable steps that people would do. I want to move to the next slide. Next slide. So these are the materials I was asking. The children would respond by giving solutions to the questions. And then they will go into what is the cost? Which of these is durable? And which of these can resist water? In all that, the children will be learning more than telling them bridges are built this way. Here they are experiencing the bridge and co-creating the knowledge. And in that way, we shall be both applying what we know from the concept to real life. Next step, slide. So the mathematics will come in, the physics will come in, and we have these footbridges, stepping stones, ropes, pillars, and rafts. Next slide. So there is, this one will show you that this becomes a STEM idea, not only talking about physics, not only talking about mathematics. So you will be interacting with understanding the world around us. You will also be understanding the tools to use for construction. You will also be doing things of design and so on. We can move to the next slide. So these bridges come from that co-creation, but some people would like to jump to this automatically. That doesn't help the child because he sees them as abstract. We move to the next slide. We can move to the next slide because that is the same explanation. So in project-based learning, we construct knowledge to deeper learning. That is the key message on this slide. But we shall incorporate critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and reflection. But we have used a driving question. And in that way, the learners will learn more. We move to the next slide. So project-based learning is a method of teaching which starts with a driving question, and it promotes constructivist learning, allowing students to take ownership of their education by working on real issues. We move to the next slide. Next slide. So it will also involve design thinking, because people would design solutions to the problem. And in design thinking, we ideate, we empathize, we define the problem, we make prototypes, and we test run them. In that way, learners will be co-creating and will be experiencing constructivism. Next slide. So the key principles of constructivism is that learners bring prior knowledge. Number two, that it is an interaction process which is social. Learners work in groups. Number three, that knowledge is constructed individually and collectively. Number three, learning happens in many ways. Number four, it is an active and reflective process where people think about the what, the how, and the why. So new knowledge is built or co-created through a process of assimilation, accommodation, and rejection of some of the previous knowledge that we had. And then that one can be put in other words, it is about unbundling, rebundling, and bundling of concepts. So the learner and the teachers work together, and they transfer knowledge to new situations. Next slide. What is the role of the teacher? The teacher is to adapt the curriculum to address learners' position. Number two, the teacher helps to negotiate the goals and outcomes for the learner by breaking up the big concept into what is in their immediate environment. The teacher poses questions. The teacher emphasizes hands-on and real-world experience. Then the teacher seeks and values learners' point of view. The next slide talks about what is the role of the learner. The learner works collaboratively. The learner takes ownership of every activity by showing his choice and voice. Then the learning is a social process. Then the learners start developing their own goals for assessment and for the targets they want to achieve. Next slide. Applying constructivism in the learning space requires that we pose problems that are or will be relevant to the learners. We are aware of the learner's point of view as windows of reasoning that we can scaffold, as Vygotsky says. Also, we structure learning around essential concepts or global ideas, not the trivial facts, as some people want us to believe. Next slide. So constructivism in learning and teaching is about empowering learners to build knowledge. That is key. We empower learners to build their own knowledge. Next slide gives the references that I would like to give. And I thank you for the time you have given us. Over to the chair.
Oh, thank you very much. I thought it was still continuing. Me, I was continuing that.
Some
Thank
few
you very
question
much.
is because my battery is getting out.
Members, you are welcome to ask a few questions or sharing you have before we came out. Raise up your hand and you're able to ask. Nia was able to learn about constructivism. That makes my learning very enjoyable. I use teaching learning process so that learners get to learn from known to unknown. I excite my classroom and make it enjoyable. What have you learned? You're welcome, members. Raise up your hand. I'm looking for a hand up.
No, now I'm listening to them. You can now move our voice. Let me voice
Yes,
out.
please. Oh, I can see Kabare. Welcome.
Hello, how are you? Today I have learned that learning is a process from simple to complex. So it have encouraged me and it have motivated me to start inventing. But there is a question I have about these competitions. Those of Western, exactly what is the venue where they are going to be held? I know it is Fort Portal, but we don't know the place.
Thank you very much. That question will be answered after here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking that. Any other members? Welcome. Oh, Mr. Mulumba, you have been very elaborate. I can
Thank
feel
you
that
so much.
members have worked out with something. Thank you very much. Solomon? Solomon, do you have something to say?
No, for sure. I really appreciate you for this lesson. But the problem is like, I'm Solomon, but I have another account of Kabale Secondary School. I've been with the club members, with the members who want to present in the project. So you have sent a message here as Solomon requesting me to say something, but I didn't respond and using Kabale Secondary School account. I'm really sorry. But today's lesson have been very informative. I really thank you.
Thank you very much. We are so grateful for helping the learners to also listen to this. Some of this is very useful to them, so that when they get back to class, they're able to concentrate.
Thank you so much. My battery is going down and I'm on the road. I would like to be released and I move.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moromba, for this presentation. Thank you very much, all the members who are here. I now take this opportunity to answer the question asked by Kabare. As I say that we have distributed letters for the competition which is forthcoming. If you haven't received, I would like to kindly request that we have our patience. The letters are coming. But don't hesitate to also give me a call if you haven't received your letter. Kabare is in Western Uganda. Their competition is going to be at Chebambe Girls. I think we wrote that in the letter. If it's not there, let me check and have the correction done. But that is where we are going to have your competitions. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. We are privileged that yesterday the president of the country was able to announce that Ebola victims are no longer there in Uganda, but people should continuously follow the SOPs. That is our prayer, that our competition may not be stopped by that message we received yesterday. So I would like to encourage all the schools who have gone through, please, you continue to perfect your projects, areas that probably you didn't have enough time during the last term to work on. Please make sure that you're able to work on them so that during the pitching, we are very sure of what we are doing. Members, thank you very much for being here this great evening. We have learned about constructivism in teaching and learning processes, and especially in this monitoring of the competency-based curriculum. Next Thursday, we shall have another good program that will come. I encourage you to come back. Please have a good night, everyone.